Welcome you and I to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. I'm your host, Crispin Valentin. Make sure you subscribe to your channel right now. Why? You have nothing to lose and so much to gain. Like these amazing stories by our Latino communities doing amazing things, like Nancy, aka Serpent Says Yoga. She's a yoga instructor, and so much more. And now to the episode. Nancy, hola. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm a terrible liar. She's been here before. But long story short, she's back. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Serpent Says Yoga.
Yes.
Okay, before we get started, we're going to go ahead and start with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. If you like this, if you like that, if you have not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. We got amazing stories. We have amazing Latinos, amazing human beings doing amazing things in the community that you get to learn and you get to grow from. So, ¿estás lista? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
Corn tortilla, flour tortillas?
The handmade one.
The handmade tortillas or corn?
Like whichever. If you go to the restaurant,
Yeah.
I'm gonna like whichever one is like the handmade one. If they're both handmade, then I'll go with corn.
Corn tortillas, claro que sí. Gorditas de horno or pupusas?
Pupusas.
Pupusas, yeah. Jarritos, what flavor?
Tamarindo.
Agua horchata, jamaica, or tamarindo?
Horchata.
Horchata, yeah. Salsa verde, salsa roja. Which team are you?
I like them both.
Yeah.
I do like them both. Yeah, you gotta combine them. Whichever
Yes.
one's spicy.
You started that trend because the next guest also like to put both salsas at the same time.
Yeah, whichever one tastes good.
Absolutely. Menudo or pozole?
Menudo.
Valentina, Tabasco, Cholula, or Tapatio hot sauce?
It really depends on what you're eating. Depends
yeah,
on what
true
you're eating. So
like, for example, Valentina. What do you like Valentina with? Chips. Tapatio?
Tapatio, that's kind of like the default that they have at like restaurants.
For seafood sometimes?
Yeah, seafood, yeah.
Cool,
And then like Tabasco in my drinks.
True that. What is let me see if we get this one. What is the a very recommended spot in El Paso where you grew up that people should go and try it out?
The recommended spot. I'm still having a hard time thinking of that other than my dad's house or like your cousin's house, your primo's house. It's good, but I'm gonna say like just any good like Mexican restaurant that you see kind of similar, like whenever you visit, I feel this strongly, like whenever you visit any kind of town, is you just allow intuition to guide you and what spot is like, this is homemade, this is good. And I think that El Paso has a lot of that. We have a lot of like Mexican food, and our Mexican food is, I feel like it's very specific to the location. And honestly, like so many spaces have what is it, like I think it's called like I don't know, just like I think it's called like a Mexican plate or something like that. And you literally get flauta, chile relleno, taco, guisado, side of rice and beans. Like you get a little bit of everything.
In one plate?
In one plate. I know. It's not really like that common here, I've noticed.
No,
but
not.
over there, it's so common. And it's kind of like that in like any, like just delicious. Like
I think El Paso, just being so close to the border, it still has somewhat of the actual traditional type
100%.
of...
like 100%.
Like authentic Mexicano.
Very authentic Mexicano.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't go to her mom's and dad's, but find the mom and pops and support them.
Yes.
Because I'm for sure you're going to find some amazing food. Your favorite ever yoga pose and why?
Wide leg forward fold, because wide leg forward fold is just like taking a really wide stance, pigeon-toeing your feet in, and hinging at the hips. And I find my legs are really tight because I'm always sitting cross-legged. So doing something, doing that is a very complete opposite action of having your legs crossed. And so that feels really good for me. It feels good on like the hips, the lower back, the legs. It feels like a full body experience, and also your upper back as well. Right. So just a forward fold.
Cool. I like it. By the way, I'm still kind of sore because I went to take her free class at the Kava bar Oak Cliff. My hamstrings are it's just like, I know that people like don't think it's a workout or whatever. Man, it hurts.
Yeah, and because also you're stretching muscles, you're activating muscles that maybe you're not used to activating.
You're realizing and finding muscles that you might not realize you had at sometimes. You were like leg up in the air, do the twisty thing.
And bounce on one foot.
Bounce on one foot, like what? Okay. Whenever you're wanting to celebrate something, some victory, something happened that you want to celebrate, do you like to dance cumbia, salsa, merengue, bachata, or any other genre of music?
I am more of a different genre of music. I like a lot of kind of like synth pop and like wavy music, and it's just kind of very flowy. But I would say I do dance a little bit of cumbia, but like not too much. And if I dance cumbia, it's not really in the traditional way. I'm not really like
You're free flowing.
I free flow. I really do, but I still love to dance. So
yeah, there's I love that us individuals, human beings, Latinos labeled, like to all kinds of other stuff, not just the specific ones that I name, you know what I mean? Because we're accustomed to these sometimes when we go to a fiesta, party, quinceañera wedding, but we're open to all kinds of stuff. Like for whatever reason, I like opera or like classical. I have no reason why I should, but it sounds real pleasant whenever it's like, oh yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, especially if you're working, it'll just put you in that state, and it's like
Absolutely. When you hear the word Latino, Latina, what is the very first things that comes to mind to you?
When I hear the word Latino, Latina, what comes to mind is just kind of like an overarching generalization of people. And I know it means something to different people. And for me, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, thinking about like Latin-based language, and I think that's kind of like what's coming is like, just people who originate from a Latin-based language.
Absolutely. And do you mind if anybody calls you Latina? Because I heard you like El Paso known a lot for using Chicano and different things like that. Which do you prefer? Do you care? Do you mind? Do you find it offensive?
Honestly, it's like, it's not that it's offensive, but sometimes when people say it, it comes off a little like fetishy or like sort of like, offensive in a way or but I mean, I am from a Latin, like my roots are from a Latin-based like language and country. But I think of myself more as Chicana. And I also think of myself as Tejano. I think of myself as a Texan. And I also think of myself as from the Southwest because I grew up in El Paso. And that's very different from the rest of Texas. It's really, really different.
If you've never been, because I've been before, it's like everywhere you go is Spanish speaking. Like you literally can't different. Like, it's besides the fact that a few people speak English here and there, it's like all Spanish, and you're like, is this Mexico?
Yeah, it's really Spanglish, like, and it's really common. Like, since I don't have a very strong Spanish tongue, but I understand it very well. And so a lot of what happens when I'm over there is that someone's talking to me in Spanish and I'm talking to them in English.
And it goes back and forth.
Yeah, and back and forth. We can have a whole full on. Just like that. Just like that. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's neat. That's neat. I like that. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So as we mentioned earlier, you grew up in El Paso. But I always like this question. Do you happen to know any neat, interesting stories about your ancestors, how they made it to El Paso? Like whether it be on your mom's side or your dad's side.
I have a lot of, I think a lot of my ancestry is lost. But what I do know is that I asked my grandpa. I was like, how'd you get here? And I was like, what happened? And then he was like, I just took the bus and never went back. And that's, I feel like how it really was that simple, like in the 40s, I guess, or like the 40s, 50s, 60s, pre-internet. Like, you can just show up somewhere and just, like, not go back and just make a life for yourself. And again, El Paso is, I mean, it's Mexico. Right?
Yes, pretty much. Well,
I mean,
people know the history. People know
exactly.
the history.
Yeah,
people know what it used to be.
Yeah.
Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, all the way to Oregon, California, all those areas.
Yeah.
Louisiana parts. Everybody kind of knows what it was, what it used to be.
They're definitely, I know a little bit more on my dad's side, and just kind of heavy roots in, like, being rancheros.
So a gentleman that I met many years ago, he said that he jumped in the train, rode the train all the way to the little town where I grew up at, and just got off. And
that's it. And you just start your life. Yeah. And
just
actually,
like jumping on the bus.
Yeah, it really, I mean, it was, I mean, I feel like, I think they make it seem more complicated than it is. Like, today, I feel like, I guess, just to get into it a little bit, just talking about absolutely. Like, terrorism and stuff like that, and like acting like, people who are like migrating to like create like better lives for themselves. I think they put a little bit too much of a heavy emphasis on like people who are not white in this country being the ones who perpetrate violence within our state, and I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree with that.
So the thing is that if it wasn't because in our beings, everybody has this thing about us that wants to travel all over the place. So if it wasn't for the almost instincts of wanting to get out of where you're at and explore around, then we would never discover this area called the Americas. We would have stayed in Europe somewhere and never would have left. But because we have this instinct about us wanting to be immigrants, whether we want it or not, we decide to explore other places. I mean, think about it. We want to explore space already. We have all kinds of things here to explore. So it's within our DNA, our almost instincts for us to want to explore. So if it wasn't because of that, we would never have met the Americas that it is before. We would have stayed in Europe in the little area, the cradle of humanity, and would have never left there. But we're not those people.
And I mean, like, Americans love to travel, but somehow we're gonna get angry when people come into like travel into our country.
We want to do it, but don't you do it? That's funny. I mean, you're right. And again, that's one of the reasons of the podcast is because we have an amazing examples of people like yourself, people that have been here forever and they generations after generations. Like, and some of the things, you've been here so long that some of the things are like, you just, all you know is America. All you know is the U.S.
Yeah.
And yes, your ancestors know that it used to be Mexico, but as far as your history and a few other generations, all that they know is the U.S.,
And another fun thing, too, is my grandma, when she got her citizenship, she gathered all of her grandchildren and she said, I am no longer your abuela, I am your grandma. So from that day forward, she was known as grandma.
Grandma?
Yeah, she wasn't abuela, she was grandma.
I mean, it happens sometimes. Okay, so growing up, was there already anything that stood up for you as far as yoga? Was that something that was already kind of sort of in your mind? Did you ever explore or seen that growing up at all? Yeah,
somehow it entered into my consciousness. I don't really know how, when, what, where, why. It just did. I mean, I grew up with the internet. Dial-up internet specifically, which is a little bit different from now internet. And so I remember finding this website actually that had to do with astrology and zodiac signs, and that was the first time I found out about astrology and zodiac signs. Actually in yoga, there's an astrology yoga, and each planet has a specific name in in I guess I don't really know what language it is, but in that language, and maybe it's Hindu. I don't know.
It could be Hindu.
Yeah, I think it's Hindu. I think it's Hindu, and but yeah. That seems like it's far from each other, but they're very related. And I just know I was interested in kind of like astrology from an early age. And then I just really don't know how yoga entered my consciousness. But when I went to, in high school, there was a yoga class. I would believe it was like in my freshman year of high school, I feel. Freshman or junior year. Probably like the last end of freshman year. I don't know. But and because I was always trying to get out of PE, and I was always looking at the different kinds of classes that they had, and yoga was one of them.
It's funny because a lot of kids look forward to PE, but you wanted to get out of
PE. Yeah, no, I don't want PE. Like, no, like, I don't know if you've seen that joke where it's like the ones running, walking the track and eating hot Cheetos. Like, that's what I would do in PE. So if I had the opportunity,
walk the track and eat hot Cheetos.
Yeah, and like hide behind like a bush or something. Yeah. So
okay, let's backtrack a little bit before we get to high school part. You went to school at a Catholic church, yes. But when you discovered things about the internet and the things that you saw, something happened. It just wasn't the same as far as what you were getting taught to believe and what you was trying to see, right? Can you tell me a little about that?
So since very early age, I really questioned the way religion was taught to me, because I really grew up in the Catholic Church up until the age of, I think it was like 13 or 14, somewhere around there. And so we had religion class really early, and they would just tell us the little stories, and I saw them as little stories, you know, and people, this is the truth, but I see it as like stories. And none of it really kind of clicked with me, other than we talked about, and it's kind of funny, like being so young and they're telling us about limbo and purgatory, right. But because I remember being like 6, 7, 8 years old, and they're talking about limbo and purgatory and reincarnation, and those were the things that like I was like, oh, and I was like really interested in this concept. And I think that kind of opened the portal into spirituality that is not necessarily like being like, that's not necessarily like institutional religion.
Right. So did that create any conflict for you as far as the teachers, because you were maybe just a little different, not really aligned to the norm of the beliefs that they wanted to teach?
Yeah, for sure, because I wasn't very sheeple. I wasn't really it did create conflict, because, and I think it would be expressed in like ways that were just like me, because I wasn't like necessarily like, this isn't the truth. It was just like, I think just the way I was just different from the way the rest of the people were. I didn't really like following rules. And yeah, it did create a lot of conflict. And I had a little school bully named, I won't name her, but she was a teacher. I'm sure she's deceased now because she was old. May she rest in her ways.
You're so kind.
May she rest in her ways. But she was mean. She was a mean girl. Yeah, I know. Sure. Yeah, she found out the truth. She was a mean lady. And I wasn't the only person that was like bullied also. And yeah, I think that there was a lot of conflict within the school. And so shortly after all that happened, my mom took me out of there and ended up going to a public school. I went to like a few until I kind of like rooted in one specific area. And then, yeah, that's when high school happened. And then that's when I found out about that yoga class.
So this is maybe my observation, and maybe you can vouch for this. Catholic kids are like, they're terrible. They really are advanced and terrible as far as like, not like huge, but they know a lot, and they're really bad kids. Even when you get to high school, feel like they've been tied up doing the good things. All of a sudden they get to high school and they go berserk. They go crazy. They start acting out and this and that. Most of the ones that I knew, they got in trouble. They got using drugs.
I think that's true. I think that when you grow up in a very like kind of like tight grip space, right, and you're not able to express yourself by the time, like, I mean, I was expressing myself from an early age, but by the time that, you know, you were like in high school and you're I think it's really different. But I also have some friends. There's like there's two Catholic schools when you get to high school, the boys and the girls school. And so the boys school was bad. I mean, the girls school too. But like, one thing that I really loved and love about like my friends who ended up going, we're not really friends anymore, but the friends that I had at that time that ended up going to the all girls school is that they they really there's a lot of women empowerment because
awesome.
there's a lot of women empowerment because it's like, yeah, women can do this, women can do this, women can do this, women can do that.
It's funny
so
though,
there's a lot of strong women that come from that school.
It's a little bit conflicting because a lot of the times that's not the way of the Catholic religion.
Yeah.
It's most of like women obeying and doing the things they're supposed to be, and letting the men do and not women empowerment.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It is interesting, and I think that maybe the boys' school I think that's where you find. I mean, I know, like, I'm not trying to say it's not just men that like act out or whatever, but I think that how you say that women are like kind of traditionally speaking, like it's kind of like the men is like in charge. So like when
especially in the Catholic religion, we're talking about that, yes.
Yeah. So and then when you've got like high school egotistical kids, like a lot of the boys are a little fucking stupid, to say the least.
So,
and they think they can get away with anything. You know what I mean? There's a lot of power trips, like especially if they come from money. It's easy to get out of stuff and just continue to perpetuate bullshit until they learn better.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to all the classmates. If you see this,
shout out to the classmates.
That I kind of said I noticed some of the things out of my experience. And I'm like, oh, this dude came from a Catholic church. Like, oh wow. They're very advanced in certain things, and they're always getting in trouble. So either it's depriving of them being having to be good, and all of a sudden they're in the wild and just went berserk.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just me over exaggerating what I saw, but I thought that's what I saw.
No, I see what you're saying, and I think that but I think that because it is pretty common that in, I guess, like the Catholic school religion system, that the boys and the girls are separated, the men and the women separated, and I think that that creates very different experiences for both of them, and. Yeah, I just know for sure that the women's school it's just like, I feel like everyone came out like such a strong individual.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just where I was at. I
mean, that's fair.
So you get to, as far as like schooling, a lot of the times, it depends on where you are. I don't know what kind of schools at Paso has, like high school wise, but it depending on where you're at, some programs are not offered. It's very interesting that the one you went to had yoga as an option for you to take, right?
Yeah, so the school that I went to, I think that I went to a pretty well-funded school. It had like all types of people, so it's not like it was just like a rich kid school or whatever. Like there was like definitely like it's kind of like Dallas, you know what I mean? Like you've got the whatever. But I think that the school that I went to, whoever was in charge, I really don't know what was going on. I don't know the intricacies behind that, but we just had a lot of good classes. Like even like I took a bunch of different music classes while I was there. I took piano, I took guitar, I took choir for like half a year. And they had mariachi. We had mariachi. We had folklorico. So it was also very cultural. Like I mentioned before, that our food was so good. We had like we had fajitas. We had I mean, fajitas is a bridge, but we also had menudo Fridays. We had arroz con leche. We had breakfast burritos all the time. Like we had really good food.
I should have gone to that school.
I know. I was like, never mind. Like I didn't care about going out to eat. I wanted to eat at school because it was so good.
That menu is exquisite. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty neat. So you take different classes, and one of them you try to avoid PE. Yeah. You see yoga. Is there anything that says yoga that draws you to want to take the class?
Yeah, I literally just YOGA. And I was like, I recognize this. I know this is something that I'm so interested in. I know it's a form of a spiritual practice because I had always been interested in Eastern religion and Eastern concepts of spirituality. And I just knew it was tied in some way, shape, or form. And I didn't realize that it was a, like, movement either. I don't think I realized it was, like, a movement. I think I guess so. I don't know. I don't know, other than I just recognized the word. And I was interested. I was like, oh, they have yoga. I've always wanted to try this. Maybe I did know it was a movement. but like
it's
you know,
possible
like
the Yoga Sutra you might have run into
yeah,
that phrase.
yes, yeah.
Or even during that time, it was more of a push or
Yeah,
that trendy thing at that time.
yeah, and like it wasn't because it wasn't trendy in El Paso. It wasn't not popular in El Paso at all. So that's what makes it even more unique. I know it's definitely this one teacher, Miss Montoya. I'm pretty sure it was Miss Montoya, because she was the one that would put aerobics class, Pilates class. We already had dance class, but she put aerobics, Pilates, step, and yoga. She was just like an overall fitness lady.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I know it was her that put it there, and it was such a small class. It was relative. I went to a pretty big school. I went to a really big school, and there was no more than like 20 people in that class, like probably around 15, I feel like. And all of us were pretty interested. Like there was like the air in the room where we were like wanting to know what this was. And it was also really silly the first time you try it. I remember just like kind of looking over at my friends and we're like, we're really doing this.
Walk me back to just the first day of walking into the class.
Yeah.
Is there a little bit of anticipation of what is this going to be like? Did they provide you the mat? You got to get your own mat? How does that go?
They provided us a mat, and or maybe we bought a mat and we just kept it there. I can't remember what that was like.
We're backtracking.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so you get there. Now she's kind of sort of talking to you. Do you remember anything she said specifically about what is this going to be?
I honestly mostly remember the room. Like maybe not everything in the room, but I remember the lights were low and we just kind of sat in like a semicircle and she was right there in the front and she just told us like, so we're going to move our bodies in these different postures. And like, yeah, she didn't really touch too much about like the spiritual aspect of it by any means, but she did talk about the origins of where it came from. And yeah, I don't really remember too much. Like we never wrote notes. We didn't do no notes. And like now when you do, you know, if you're going to be a teacher, trainer, you know, teach yoga, you're going to write notes about all these postures and the alignments or whatever. But we were just flowing. We were just taking the class. We were just doing an hour or 45 minutes of yoga.
Wow, 45 minutes. So yoga has the possibility of changing your brain. Do you realize anything that was happening even for the first week of you doing yoga as far as you yourself changing at all or sensing something?
Yeah, I have always kind of been prone to depression, and I think that yoga probably really helped me without me realizing it for the beginning of it, because the first time you're doing it, you're not really like, I don't know, you're just doing it, right? And it's kind of funny at first, and it feels weird because you're not used to like putting your body in these certain areas. Like you don't really do things like that like toddlers do that, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like like naturally like toddlers do that if you don't know about yoga. But but I think I did notice I had it right after lunch, my yoga class, and I think it did create it because it was basically meditation. I'm not really talking to anybody. You're not talking during your yoga class. I didn't, we didn't, like us as the students, we didn't talk to one another. The first couple of classes, yes, because we're just like, you know, giggling and it's silly. But then like once we got into it, like we weren't really talking to one another, only sometimes, but like not really. That was kind of really our time to just like be within our body and be there. And I really embraced it. And I think that's, I just really embraced it.
Could you say you were immediately hooked and say this is something that I'm going to definitely be doing and exploring more and more?
Yeah, I would say like kind of like maybe not the first class, but I mean, I was immediately hooked. Like I said, when I saw the word yoga, I was like, yes, I was like, I want to know about this. And then, so I guess maybe, yeah, like once I saw that it was there, I was like, yes, this is my entryway into figuring out what this is. And then once I was in the classes, and I think I just like, because also when you're like, you know, 16, 15, you're not, there's just so much going on.
Yeah, of course.
Right? I mean, there's always so much going on, but like you're not really thinking about your mental health like when you're like 16.
And you got hormones happening.
Yeah.
You have trying to be popular or fit in school.
Yeah.
You have studies. You have what you're going to be doing in the future.
And I know mental health is now more of a like conversation, but like back then it wasn't really a conversation. We weren't talking about taking care of ourselves. Like, so, because I know there's a, like, I would say like kind of like more like Gen Z people grew up with like their moms doing yoga, and like that's how they get into yoga. That's what I've noticed, like kind of like the pattern is that like, oh, I did yoga with my mom.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so like so that's how they were more introduced to it, like just kind of like from an early age like that. But yeah, I think, I don't know, like I said, I was with like dial-up internet, and like I think it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, cool. So did you find, so you leave high school, you're trying to find a studio, there's really not a lot of options, but then you get into college at UTA.
Yes.
And you start working on a degree. Is yoga even a conversation here when you get back?
Yeah, so kind of like that in between, or I think my last year of high school, I was like, I wanted to do more yoga, because I think I was only able to do it like 2 to 3 times a week, because I had that A-B schedule where you had one class one day, other class the other day, and I wanted to do more of it, but I couldn't really do it at home. Like, I think that maybe it's well, during that time, because there wasn't really like yoga YouTube wasn't really a thing, but there was yoga DVD, and I had a yoga DVD. Cool. So I had a yoga DVD, and then I was trying to like also just like get more into it, but there wasn't a lot of access to that unless I drove like 30-45 minutes away from where I lived. That's where kind of there was like 2 yoga studios or 1, except for there was the gym near where I lived, and that offered a yoga class every Saturday, so I would go there every Saturday. And then starting college, the school gym had yoga classes every day, and so I was going to that like honestly like 6 days a week, because I wasn't really a social person. It's kind of weird. In high school, I was very social and like very like social butterfly and talked to a lot of people. But like when college happened and I moved, basically just out of my elements, and on top of that I moved more to like a commuter school rather than one of those schools where like everybody's living here. It was just like, I'm just living here. I'm just living here with like people from like from across the seas, like, you know, like and so it was hard for me, and going to yoga class was really like my social hour. That's cool. And not that I even talked to anybody, but it was like me getting out.
Okay, did you find yourself missing yoga when you weren't doing yoga at all?
Well, since I was doing it, I mean, yeah, because then after that, so I was going to that school, and then I ended up transferring schools, and then I wasn't doing yoga during that time, and that I was missing it, but I also maybe felt like there just wasn't time in my life for that, because studies get more intense, and I want to hang out with people, and at that moment, it wasn't really a priority. And my brain also was just like, I did it so much, like chill, like chill. I did it so much. And then, until one day I had like a really, terrible day, and I was just crying a lot, and it was just, absolutely horrible. And the one thing that I knew was going to help me was to go to a yoga class, because I just didn't know what else to do. And so I went to a yoga class, and I just showed up tears, and I'm crying the whole fucking time. And then after that, that's when I just started going to yoga again.
It's funny because even in that environment of a class, a lot of the times people don't judge you as far as what you're doing. If you got feelings to come out and crying, they just leave you alone. You know?
Yeah. Like I think that some people are really nervous sometimes, though, to be vulnerable in spaces like that. They would hate the idea of having to cry. Because I think sometimes yoga can also come across as vain. I think that there is a lot of vanity in yoga. There's the mirrors right there, and you're looking at yourself the whole time. Am I doing the posture right? Like, am I doing it the best? Like, I think that there is a lot of comparison, even though yoga is like a self journey and a self-sport. There's a moment I feel like I don't think anybody's immune to this, like where you're comparing yourself to other people and wanting to be good, and maybe even wanting to be the best one in the room or whatever.
You think it's psychological as far as the way we are here in the States, as far as like you have to be the best, you have to always compete in this and that?
I think if you're a naturally competitive person, yes. But then
think we are naturally competitive?
No.
We get taught to be naturally
I think
competitive?
some people are like taught, and maybe they just are naturally competitive from like an early age. But like I don't think everybody is. Not everybody gives a shit like that. And I there's some where it's like maybe that's the only thing you're good at. Maybe that's the only thing you're good at. So then if someone shows up,
a self-esteem, ego type of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Or like I mean, not for myself anymore. I would say.
I mean, for whoever is that person that's not you.
Yeah.
I mean, like for somebody that's like trying to get validation, feels good about themselves, self-esteem.
And another reason why I talk about the vanity too is because Instagram and taking pictures and like it just kind of annoyed me that there's some people that they don't necessarily practice yoga. They just want to hit that cool pose, take a picture of it, and then that's it. And then so they're not really there for the yoga. They're there for like, look what I can do. Look at me looking like graceful and gorgeous in this like posture. And
without shaking.
Yeah, without shaking. And then
having that face like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so
funny.
like that's where I'm saying like, you know, that there is a lot of vanity in it. And also like in the Western world where we are located, a lot of the spirituality of it is stripped away and it's just a physical sport. And yeah. So I think it's just, being able to, like, be more in the direction of the, like, how it makes you feel within your body and your mind and, like, and just being on the more, like, realm of, like, the spiritual aspect of yoga.
So for you, it's more like staying true to yoga as to what it is, not what people make it seem it could be on social media and Instagram.
Yeah.
Like the actual real core things of what he's supposed to do for you.
Yeah. And I still have so much to learn. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm a baby. Like, even though I've been practicing it for so long, I just started teaching it. So, like, I think, and teaching it is a whole new world. It's a whole new type of yoga. Yeah. Because it's the yoga of using your voice. It's a yoga of, like, being there for people. It's a yoga of, like, sharing. And yeah, so that's just, and that's all new to me. There's just a lot to learn.
Let's get to that part. Before we get to whenever you decided to start practicing and being the one that's going to teach it, did you complete your studies as far as college?
Yeah.
You graduated with?
I completed studies and I graduated with a degree in fashion merchandising and home furnishings.
Awesome. We can tell about the swag, by the way. Look fantastic.
The swag. I got my Angel Baby shirt on.
Looking fantastic. Congratulations on getting your degree.
Thank you.
But it's just something that doesn't. You move forward as far as a career. Do you want to do something different?
Yeah. So like when I graduated in that, and I stepped into the role of actually like a trend forecaster for a company here based in Dallas. It was a
trend forecaster.
Yeah, trend forecaster.
Wow.
Yeah, which was really cool. In theory, it sounds really cool, especially where I was at. It was a home furnishing company, and I guess, long story short, I just kind of realized I don't want to work in a place that perpetuates global destruction. Like, you know, like we were creating new things, like environmentally, like destroying
trees and
exactly.
Stuff.
Fast fashion. Like, so I was basically working for like a fast fashion furniture store, and I just couldn't separate myself from that. And so that's when I was like, okay, this is like not gonna work out. And I know I can still go in a different direction with that. I still in a way work with it where I do a lot of antiquing and I resell clothing, like a lot of knickknacks, tabletop decor, and like furniture too as well. Awesome. But I hold a lot of different job titles, so that's just like one of my things that I love. So it's like I never will, in a way, I feel like I'll never let go of that because I love it so much. I don't know. It may transform into something else. Who has no idea. But the reason I got into teaching yoga, at first I used to never think that could never be me. That is not me. Like, I am not that person. Like,
Why you thought that way? Why was it that particular feeling and thought of you not being the one?
I think I just thinking that, like, I have nothing to give. I have nothing to give. I have nothing to, like, put onto the table. I can never be that person. Maybe that's just thinking, like, I don't know, like, it's just thinking poorly about yourself, thinking that you don't have anything to offer. And then as I started going to, like, kind of broadening my horizons and going to different teachers and going to different class styles, I started to think that I started to change my concept on that, because I think I was also going to some teachers that were a little bit more on the spiritual realm, and, like, the idea like of, like, me giving like spiritual advice it didn't sound like something I could do. I think a little bit differently now about that. But yeah, I don't know. It just didn't seem like, I just never thought that could be me.
Since you're going through all this in your mind and all those battles, as far as I'm not
worthy, When
do you decide that you are worthy to be able to pursue the certification for you to teach? Do you remember the moment?
Yeah, so it was like two things. One was experiencing different teachers, and I'm getting older and more experienced in my yoga practice, and kind of realizing I was like, I think I may know a little bit more. Like, which is, and I'm not trying to say that in an egotistical way or anything, but like I said, like, I was like, oh, these people have only been practicing for like 5 years and they're teaching, and I've been practicing for like 15 years, and like it's I don't know, I just started to realize that, like, I maybe do know a little bit more. And then I started to also, like, look internally of, like, kind of like where I was at in my career. I only did that for about a year and a half. And then after that, I was dog walking. And then I was just basically holding a bunch of odd jobs. And I was like, oh, I need to find something that I know was going to stay with me and I can grow and I, like, can fall back on. And yoga was a thing that came into my mind because it's a thing that I've been doing for a while, and it's something that I already kind of know a little bit of. And so truly it felt like more so like a necessity to kind of get into that field, just like a necessity because, money is inescapable and I need to be able to take care of myself. And yeah, that's just something that I know, and it's something that I can actually teach, especially for people who don't know anything.
Do you think yoga fortify your mind, straighten it to know that, like, you know what, I think I know more than what I think I know?
Yeah. So, like I said, going to the different teachers and just kind of like realizing, like, there's some, like, obviously, like, and also everybody has a different approach to it. And which I really admire and enjoy. Repeat the question.
Did yoga help you fortify your mind as far as strengthening your mind as far as making the decision to go in and be an instructor that you can get your certification?
Yeah. So I basically kind of decided that I was going to do that, and I said that I was going to save up money and do the whole India trek and, like, do a whole month, which I still really want to do. Don't get me wrong. I still really want to do that. But that's kind of like, that's like how I had envisioned and built up being a teacher. I felt like I had to truly, like, go and, like, learn and, like, learn all that, and then I am worthy to, like, be able to share that.
Where does the worthy mindset come from you?
Maybe from being in a Catholic school and, like,
so?
yeah.
You think that's where it's because it goes all the way back, right? I'm not no psychologist or anything, but it comes to where, like, why am I not worthy of something? And
I was never worthy growing up.
Why even think of the word worthy instead of just I'm capable of doing anything that I want to?
Well, because, I mean, I was, like, I was really picked on in school, and so, like, I wasn't worthy of a lot of things. But so that just kind of, like, stick within me. And yeah, so
cool.
So yeah,
did you ever
that's
talk to a counselor or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I'm the reason that they got a counselor on school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like I am the reason that they got a counselor on school. So then they got a counselor like in the school, and other kids started going and talking to them too and whatnot. So I guess yeah, I did like do some change, but yeah, so I've been in and out of like, therapy.
That's great.
Because yeah.
Okay, so now something happened that instructors kind of sort of see an opportunity that you want to do this, and they kind of offers.
Yes.
I know your mind is to want to, and I know you're going to go. I know you're eventually going to make it to India, speak to the yogis and do the whole thing. But in the meantime, to get going, something happens, right? What happens?
Yeah. So I have a meltdown, and I go right. I have a meltdown, and I go to class, and I'm really chaotic. And who ended up being in that class was the lead teacher trainer in the studio that I'm at, and she was like, we have a scholarship, and I was like, wow. I was like, thank you. She's like, you should apply for it, and I was like, and then I like leave, and I'm like, this lady really just told me, a very chaotic person, to apply for this, apply for this.
Was it in
scholarship.
your mind that you were chaotic? And everybody could see it?
Oh yeah, it was obvious. It was obvious.
Oh, okay,
It kind of was. It was a little obvious. You could tell. I feel like you could tell. Especially if you're an instructor and you can tell when someone's off, like, you can tell when someone's going through it. And I think maybe the reason she offered that is because it is a commitment to be within yourself and to, I don't know, it's like, it is life-changing. And I think that's probably why she offered it. But I took a year before I applied. And so I took a year before I applied. That's because I was like, I don't know. I think during that time, and actually when I went into that studio too, there was one teacher in particular, and he was like, the first thing he asked me, he was like, are you a teacher? And I was like, nope. And he was like, well, you should be. And I was like, maybe I should be. So it was just like all these like tiny seeds being planted.
Yeah. Amazing. So you decide to do it. You apply for the scholarship. You get it.
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now you have to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not like fast.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to get there.
Yeah.
So get certified, right?
It was so fast. Yeah. So I ended up doing, and I did this on purpose, was I wanted the summer program because it's 4 weeks intensive rather than like 6 or 8 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever it is.
4 weeks intensive. You're talking about from in the morning to the afternoon?
Yes. So I think it was like 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. Yeah. And then you're not doing yoga the whole time. You do a morning practice and then you learn. And then you do an evening practice. And what learning may look like is, say we're learning all about twists. So how you can twist in this position, how you can twist in that position. And so it's like you're learning all about the twists. And then the next one is you're learning all about back bends or something like that. And then within that is also sprinkled the 8 limbs of yoga, which I honestly cannot say all the top of my head. Like, I'm not going to lie, which is why I say I still have so much to learn. And then, talking about Sanskrit, and that's something that I think I knew it a little bit more when I was practicing. But as I started teaching and my language is just the English version of it, I'm working on being more intentional on my Sanskrit. And
what's Sanskrit?
It's the language of yoga. It's the traditional language.
Gotcha.
So like
prana and all these other
yeah. So like prana, pranayama. Like for example, the one that lives in my head, because like I said, I'm still. There's like Anjaneyasana, which is high crescent lunge, and then there's Utkatasana, which is chair pose.
You got me.
I know, yeah, but barely though, but barely.
I mean, you get started.
Yeah,
you wanted
exactly.
to do it, so that's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you finish the 4 weeks, 8 to 6, pretty much every day, practicing, learning. What is the most significant thing that you learned during this 4 weeks? Is there anything that stands out for you?
Is that, and then I think this is similar to like anytime you're in a like educational setting, is that it's one thing to learn thing, it's another thing to practice it and to do it. And like, Yeah, I mean, you can learn all the information, but you still have to, it's like actually the practice of doing it is where you're going to learn how to actually be it.
Theory and practicing.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get your certification. How are you feeling that you completed it and you're going to get, I don't know if they do a big graduation, but they should.
Yeah, we did like a sweet graduation.
Nice.
It was like a cute little like circle that we did, and we just told each other nice things about one another. What
was the nicest things they said about you?
The nicest thing that was said was there was one person in particular, and she just like looked at me and just started crying, and she was just like, I've never been so seen before. And so it was just like really nice. Yeah.
It's my goal to make you cry, girl.
I know. I'm a crybaby. It's really easy. It's so easy.
It's not my intentions at all. But
it's
neat to be able to be recognized and set some nice things that sometimes we're not willing to receive, even though it is us.
Yeah.
And hearing them from other people, like, oh,
yeah,
that's good.
And another really nice thing too is that I've been the center of Chisme. So like being the center of Chisme and then like trying to be like someone to be a supportive person to other people, it's so contradicting. Like, because I know I'm not, what people may be saying or whatever, or people have thoughts about me, and so like putting like a face forward and being like.
You talking about in the yoga world?
No, not in the yoga world.
No,
like in other places. Like, no, not the yoga world. More like...
Chismosos will always be
I
chismosos.
know, exactly. Chismosos will be chismosos,
they're your marketers. They're the ones that tell other people about you,
Come to my yoga class.
Okay, so now, does Black Swan offer you something for you to be an instructor there?
Yeah, so Black Swan was the one that gave me the scholarship. Black Swan was the one that gave me a role to teach really quickly. I would say about like a month after getting my certification, and I had been practicing with them since 2019 off and on when they opened their studio in the Oak Cliff location, and so they offered me, and so that felt really nice, and it felt really like affirming that like that clearly they saw something within me and believed in me. And like now, and something that was kind of really interesting was, so you kind of start off like not maybe getting the best time slots, which I was fine with because I was nervous to even teach. There's some people that are just like natural and they can just
take
like
me
talk
to
in
your
front
first, very, very first class, even if it's an odd time. Do you remember?
Well, actually, I got a different one. So this one was, I used to work for this lady, and she was throwing a bachelorette party. This is before any of this happened. This is my first class.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Before any of this happened, she just knew that I do yoga a lot. And she's like, I'm throwing a bachelorette party. Can you please teach a yoga class for me? And I was like, no. And she was like, I'll pay you $100. And I was like, okay. I was like, fine. Okay. So that was my first class, and that was actually really good. Nice. Like, it was so good, and everybody, I mean, I fooled them all. They were like, where can I like teach you, like go to your class? So that was my first yoga class, and so that was really cool. And there was like 10, 15 ladies, and they were really into it. And then anyway, so now jumping back to my first like actual professional yoga class, I had two ladies, and one of them, I recognize her. They ended up being two very strong yogis. Like, they knew what they were doing, which I thought was really fun and challenging, and cool and rewarding to be able to hold space. Competitor. It's not that I'm
you're
competitive.
on the machine you perform. If people that are watching, they know.
If they know, I mean, the thing is that I want to give them what they want. That's the thing. It's like if they can do this, then I'm gonna meet them there. And I think that's how I approach all my yoga classes. Is I kind of like, one of my one of my gauges is whenever I start a class, I like to put we haven't been to one of these classes, but like kind of like when you walk into the yoga studio, I'll ask people to do so your forward fold, plant one hand in front of the nose, forward fold, deepen in the right knee, right palm comes in front of your nose, left leg is straight, left arm up to the sky. And then if you can bind behind your back, and if you can reach your hand underneath your leg and grab, that's when I know. So that's what I'll ask. I'll be like, maybe you bind. And then so I'll see who binds. And then once I see who binds, I'm like, okay, now I know which direction to go. Because I think binds are a big communicator of a practice like that. I think that's an intermediate to advanced type of person.
Yeah, we're doing the basics.
We do basics.
Was that facing dog, forward dog?
Downward facing dog.
That's what we're doing.
The
very basic. Okay. Great. So you see those ladies, they're challenging. It's great, right? Because they know what they're doing. So you're just going to take them up and do the best thing that you can. How does that come out?
I think it came out great.
Awesome.
I think they really enjoyed themselves. And since I got, in a way, lucky, like that they knew what they were doing, was that I could just call a pose and they can do it. So, like, and the biggest thing in my head is being able to create a sequence that flows. So rather than being like and like stopping every once in a while, it's kind of like you're here and then you're able to go here and then you're able to, I don't know, just kind of like open up your body slowly.
For you, your style and your voice of doing yoga, what would you say you would call it? Because I know different people have different ways to do it. Do you have a particular style for you or voice?
I'm definitely not fitness focused. I'm not a fitness focused yogi. I think that I like to draw into like the imagination of people, if that makes sense. Like, let me think. So, okay, for example, one of the big things that I really like to emphasize is I always say heart to quad, bringing your chest towards your belly, or heart to thigh. But I usually say heart rather than like your chest towards your thigh, because it's different, because it's like, oh, I'm bringing my heart forward. So I like to use, I guess, a lot of like maybe like energy point words, or like, for example, there's like a water bird is like one of them. So then I'll like say like, envision whichever bird you are, or chair pose. One of my favorite things to say is you're on your invisible throne and like, what are you wearing? What does it look like? And the season has changed. So like, are you in a different area?
When
like
you started picking up that you wanted to do that instead of like...
I just always been like that.
That's cool.
That's just part of like me and who I am. And I think it's fun. It's fun because that also forces you to be more within yourself, because you're like, oh, like what am I seeing, versus like caring about what everybody else is doing. I think that really does forces you to look inward.
That's cool. And when do you find Kava as far as having to offer your services to Kava and do the free self-care Sundays every Sunday at Kava Bar, starting at 12 with Nancy doing yoga introduction, if you're ever curious about it, and then leading out to different stuff that they do. Tell me, how did that opportunity come about?
It's like all very nicely divine timing, as they say. So once I became certified, it all went really quickly. So I think I got certified and I started teaching in September, and then the Kava Bar opened like 2 blocks away from the studio in February of this year. And then my friend went to it and he was talking to the person that opened it, Chris. He was talking to him and he was like, hey, I'm looking for a yoga instructor. And then my friend was like, I know a yoga instructor. And then after that, my girlfriend went to the Kava Bar, and he mentioned it again. I'm looking for a yoga instructor. And she was like, I know a yoga instructor.
It was the same
person. And it was the same person. And then so the following week, when I was finally in town, I was like, hey, I'm the yoga instructor. Yeah. And then so he's really cool. He was like, I'm going to stick with you. And, I want you to like, to lead this basically. And I feel really grateful. I feel so grateful. I feel so honored to offer free yoga to the community. And it is donation-based yoga, but to be able to offer like accessible and affordable yoga is it's important.
I mean, definitely a labor of love, you know what I mean? To be able to do that, knowing that if you don't do nothing of any kind of physical activity, that this right here can help you fortify your mind, get you out of a rut. If you're feeling depressed, down, whatever, it could be something that can help you out. And it's not like going to the gym, because it could be intimidating for some people, and some people might not even like the outdoors sometimes. So just being there
Yeah.
Safe space to be able to do yoga. At least something for yourself.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
And we've really built a nice, consistent community there. And another thing that I do want to say about the Kava bar and yoga together is I did struggle with alcohol. And so becoming a person to lead a yoga class really encouraged me not to drink. And then simultaneously, the Kava is known for decreasing your craving for alcohol. Like, that is just such a beautiful combination. And I think that's really helped me truly be a completely different person than the person that I was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, alcohol is so detrimental, so terrible for people, and people just don't realize it. I mean, I'm the same way. I've been struggling, had my issues with it. And find a community or place that offers something different. And still you can socialize and have different events. It's pretty neat to me. That's why I'm always I give them shout outs and show up. I was just there all day yesterday, just chilling out, lounging. Things at one time I think I passed out and fell asleep for a second. But
oh my goodness.
It's neat. It's neat to feel that way. So you do. We're running short on time, but you are have different stuff as well that you do, right? You have you have your own things that you sell. You have tell me all about it before I mess it up.
No, you're okay. So excuse me. So I teach yoga at Black Swan, and then I also teach at the Kava bar, and then I do private lessons, and I also am going to start teaching yoga in Deep Ellum at Everything Ellum, and that's going to be a sliding scale base, and I'm also going to have other instructors in that location as well. And let's see, so that's for yoga, and Everything Ellum is a store that I work at in Deep Ellum, and they are related to Llewellyn's print shop, and we print merchandise all around Dallas, Texas. Nice. So we're a really big spot there. We also have an event space in the back, which I help coordinate. And let's see, and then I sell my vintage. I'm also really like to make things. I make things with crystals, and typical yogi. She makes things with crystals, and she makes candles. So and then
so all those are separate pages on Instagram, or they're all under the same one for you?
Social media is such a...
How do people find you then?
People can find me on Serpent Says Yoga. Honestly, find Serpent Says Yoga, and I got Serpent Says Vintage. She's a little slow. She's a little slow, but Serpent Says Yoga, Serpent Says Vintage. But honestly, I'm going to post most of my things under Serpent Says Yoga because that's the one that I do tend to the most. Awesome. From there, I'll post more of my other stuff because it's really just kind of things that I say it's just not really in the social media world.
Got you. That's awesome. All right. Before we let you go, again, I know you said your social medias, but repeat it one more time. All your social medias, and where can people, if you have an event coming up, if you want to plug it in.
So Serpent Says Yoga, that's also my email, serpentsaysyoga@gmail.com. I'll say that one for the social for sure. You can do Serpent Says Vintage too if you're interested.
So not only vintage, candles, crystals, just particular private lessons for yoga. Yeah. If you just don't like to be in public, and
I do sound healing as well. I do the sound bowls. Yeah.
She does the, what is that called?
Well, I got a steel tongue drum.
Fantastic. Yesterday when she was playing, I was trying to
I love that one.
It feels so good.
Yes.
And I think you were extra on my side for 1 second. I think I feel something here. Let me.
I'll walk around the room. No, it's true, but I will. I'll walk around the room so everybody gets, and so it's a nice it kind of goes in and out of the sound. And then I also have sound bowls, so I do that as well. And what else? Oh yeah, and then any events coming up. So like I said, starting in January, I'm gonna start doing Flow and Sound in Deep Ellum. It's going to be off of Main Street and Everything Ellum. I'm leaning towards the evening, still deciding, but more than likely on a Monday. And the Kava bar at 12, that may change a little bit for the winter. Still seeing, but for now it is 12 outside. And let's see, Black Swan Yoga, I'm there Tuesday through Thursday. I'm the only Nancy on the schedule, and I only teach at the Bishop location. But yeah, I do a lot of like privates and whatnot.
Awesome. What any shout outs, saludos to anybody?
Shout out. Okay, shout out Oak Cliff Veggie Project, because they feed the people, and they do community garden and community distribution. Let's see. Also, prison yoga project. That's something that I really want to do and get into. I just need to pay for the certification, so that way I can start hosting, teaching yoga classes in the prison systems in Texas. Because I think there's a lot of things that you're not able to do, and like having the autonomy of yourself is like so important, and to be able to like basically just like be within yourself and escape into your mind is like it's vital. And I don't know, shout out Black Swan, everything else, the Kava bar, the mini mall in Denton, that's where I sell.
Nice.
So yeah,
that's awesome. So what is an important lesson that you learn about yoga that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
You're worthy. You're worthy. You have things to share. And don't be scared.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay if it looks funny. Don't be scared. Just move your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometime throughout my day or during my day, I say something along the lines of, I'm not immortal. I am mortal. I will die one day. I got it from a yogi, too. That's where I learned yoga means union, and everything else, they incorporate yoga, not just the posing. Because when people take yoga, they always think of the posing and things like that, but it's deeper than that. It's a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We only touched up on a little bit of the things that yoga is, but again, it's your own journey a lot of the times. But anyways, that's where I learned that particular saying. So with that, I wish you a long, very long, prosperous life. For me, when I say it helps me hurry up, do things, know that I'm not here forever, which is a reality of life, not to scare me, terrify me, but just to do stuff. I wish you a very long, prosperous life. After everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life?
Thank you. Think and feel about my life. You can judge a book by its cover. No, just kidding. To think about my life, I don't know. That's hard to say. Just that yoga is just one aspect of myself. I am by no means an expert in any way, shape, or form. I'm constantly learning, constantly evolving, constantly changing. And if you're not changing, you're not growing. It's okay to outgrow things. It's okay to change. It's okay to forgive yourself and to forgive other people. I think that's a really pivotal, like, that's just so important to be able to move on, is to just be able to forgive.
Do you think yoga is a calling for you to be in that spectrum, that realm of yoga?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be lifelong for me, especially now that I've kind of dedicated a part of my life to share the practice. I do see it being a large part of me. Will I be a teacher forever? I have absolutely no idea. It's even weird to kind of call myself a teacher, more so a guide. Will I be a guide forever? I have zero idea. But like I said, I kind of came into this position and this role out of necessity. So we'll see how that grows.
I forgot to ask, because the breakdown of the name, Serpent Says Yoga. I know we talked about it before, but tell me a little bit about how the name came about before we close out.
So I mean, I had a snake growing up. I have a spider right now. I don't think that has anything to do with a snake, but it's just something that resonates with me. I think I just came up with the term Serpent Says for my Instagram handle. I always changed it all the time. And so I came up with Serpent Says, like, I was like, ooh, I kind of like that, like, because the serpent's talking to you or whatever. And then I fell into being a yoga instructor, and I was like, well, Serpent Says Yoga. And I think to some it sounds a little, usually it's like lotus, or it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's lotus, or it's bloom. I don't know. It's something like, just sounds a little like, it's just something. Anyways, and what actually I've realized too is that this whole year, the year that we're in right now, 2025, is a year of the snake. It's a year of the serpent. And that's basically my whole first year of teaching. The snake is also a symbol in yoga, from the Kundalini yoga, going from like the base all the way up to the crown. And it's a symbol of renewal, constant change, growing. But yeah, I just really resonate with the snake. I like it
a lot. So Nancy, thank you so much for taking the time a second time to be here.
Thank you.
It happens. But even I knew the conversation itself was going to be different. We touched up on a lot of the same things, but it's amazing. I've been to you. There's the only few times I ever done yoga is with your class, and anytime I go there, I'm like the only guy. But also, I feel there were
three guys yesterday.
This time,
yeah.
The last time was only, but it really,
either way,
I like it because it's just you're very. It's great to follow your instructions. It's super easy. Your voice is soothing. The way that you guide to where, like, if you feel so, just the way that you do it to where you get yourself into that place and try to do it and not feel weird and awkward and just kind of sort of know that you're doing it. It's amazing. I've seen you do it all the time. And then just watching you interact in the Kava bars, how nice you are, how attentive you are, and just all the things that you do is just amazing to me. I know that you're fairly young in your practice and things that you're doing, but I just know that it's something that has been in your history of yoga, and I know other people need to learn about other things that are out there, not just your regular stuff that you have all the time. So without a shadow of doubt, Nancy, Serpent Says Yoga, you are a global Latin factor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Crispin. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe right now. What you're waiting for, you have nothing to lose and so much to gain. Such amazing stories of empowering individuals doing amazing things in the community. And remember, we are just like you. We are people. We are humans. We are the spice in this melting pot. It is the world. Till next time.